Hello and welcome to the first episode of Season 2 of my devlog series. And yes, I call it Season 2 because we completed all the bullet points of Episode 1 in the last video, so we're going to make up new goals today. The core game loop of the Spring Manager already kinda works, but there are still a ton of features that are missing. But before we can add those, we need to make sure that everything is clean and organized, so what I want to do first is making servant templates separate files in the game structure. I mean, we kinda did this for the customer templates already, so we basically just do the same thing again for the servants. And this will make it much easier to edit the characters and also make the game a bit more modular. But there's some other stuff we want to achieve in the following videos. For example, multiple choice event dialog windows with conditional buttons, and also displaying the character art, obviously, and stats. Also potentially a character profile window. And that's already a lot of work, I think. So let's hop into Godot so that we can start with making the servant templates actual files. As you can see here on the bottom left, I added a new folder called Servant Templates. And now we can go into our Servant Template class and clean the register function of the properties that we want to make available as exports. Okay, let's add the export keywords here. And now we can create new inherited scenes directly from the baseline template. And I just make 2 for now, so that we can see if everything works. In the globits function, we can now also set up a scene list, like we did with the customer templates, so that the game knows what files to expect, and also we can instantiate them here. While we're here, we also don't need the basic template path anymore, so let's remove it. And I also realized that the register function is now essentially useless, so we can remove that too. We no longer need this in the debug test function here. And now we also have to change the reference here to point towards the array entries. I think we can make it a bit more convenient by changing the template array in the globals to a dictionary. This way we can access the scenes directly by the name of the servant, which I think is more convenient. And now we can exchange the arbitrary array indexes here with the actual names of servants. This will be much easier to handle in the future. So before we test this and move on to the next part, let's set up our demo servants with the required data. Let's match the file names and dictionary entries to directly represent the 2 example characters. At this point, I am pretty sure that these will be the first 2 characters I create in this game, so let's do this. But what we can't do yet is drag and drop the traits directly into the inspector when setting up servants. Because until now, traits are just instantiated nodes. So we are gonna change that now. We could make traits also individual files, but I feel that would be overkill, considering traits are mostly just a combination of an icon and a string. Also, even if I make traits proper files, I could still not drag and drop them into exports anyway, because scenes need to be instantiated before they become proper nodes. So what we do is we make the trait list a dictionary, and then just allow the dictionary keys as the input for the servant trait list. It's a bit less convenient than drag and drop, but I think it's the next best thing. So we need to fix the data structure in the customer script, because it attempts to copy an array, but the trait list is now a dictionary. But there's no pre-made function to select a random entry from the dictionary, so we just retrieve the list of keys from the dictionary and then pick random from that. So after doing a little test to see if I didn't make a mistake, Godot had a problem with me giving the array a string type, because keys don't have to be strings, so we need to remove the string type here. So now that we made the trait list a dictionary, we can set up the export for servants that accepts the keys. So we change the expected type here to string. Let's stick to proper naming conventions here, and we name that variable to trait keys, because that's what it is now. No references, but names. But we still need a list of traits actually holding references to the trait objects on our servant class, so we're going to add this now. Then we populate the newly created array in the add function. Godot, you can chill with this error. I'm gonna fix it. There, you happy now? Okay, we can finally do a test to see if everything works, but first we need to add a few traits to our servants. And I used some really creative names here, so I just copy one of them and then we can add them in the inspector. And behold, the moment of truth. If I select Rin, then nothing is highlighted because I didn't give her any traits yet. But if I select the smug cat, then the customer is properly highlighted. So everything is working fine. Awesome. Okay, because we're already out of time and I don't want to add another big thing in this video, I'll show you a neat little nice to know. So check this out. If I change this export here to export file, then the inspector gets this little button here so that we can import the images directly in the UI. Isn't that cute? Alright then, we did a lot of work in terms of file structure and future maintainability, which, granted, isn't very sexy, but it has to be done eventually, so might as well do it now when the code is still short. And if you're wondering why I'm at the beach right now, then this is because I put a lot of work into the animations of this background, and I only ever used it once, which was my copy pasta video that I had to flag as adult only due to its content. And that felt like a waste, so I wanted to use it again in the ending card. Can I switch into the bikini mode of this model? I kinda don't wanna risk it. So, whatever, end of this video. Bye!